Have you seen what was that movie called? Cobra Kai.
No, I haven't.
On YouTube.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It was really funny. Show was amazing. I didn't watch the second season. I watched the first season.
Okay. I heard it was good though.
YouTube original.
It was good.
And for those that aren't familiar, it basically is a sequel to The Karate Kid, where it's basically making the main character from Karate Kid the bad guy. So actually, this is hilarious. There was a viral video that argued the main character from Karate Kid was the bad guy.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that this dude was just like minding his own business, and this kid kept, messing with him, trying to steal his girlfriend. And so they do this new show where he's basically like an old, like
Sensei.
Deadbeat.
Teaching.
No, he's like a deadbeat. Then he becomes better.
Right.
The show was edgy and offensive. And so a lot of us on YouTube that we were laughing, it's funny. YouTube will make a show that breaks their rules and we can't do the same thing. How about that?
Yep.
That's how broken YouTube is as a business.
What's true for thee, but not me.
And I don't know what it is. I do think things are getting better on YouTube. I think so. I've noticed a lot of changes. Apparently, we got messaged the other night. People were saying that the Timcast IRL podcast got verified by YouTube, which means we got a little check mark.
Oh, we're verified, people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. We're verified.
I don't know
now.
when that happened because it's a new channel. I don't know when that happened, but apparently YouTube, did this. And I have to wonder if this move that Joe is doing, it's all speculation, whether or not he really does this like anti-censorship salvo.
But he is leaving.
He should totally do it,
But
dude.
he is leaving, though.
He is leaving.
That's for sure.
And so why wouldn't he? Look.
Why wouldn't he? You're right.
Joe, I'm pretty sure, like, it's hard for me to say definitively because I've listened to a ton of his podcasts, but I'm pretty sure he was talking about the doctors getting banned and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So assuming that's all true, I'd imagine he would want to have on,
those doctors,
or just a different opinion.
You're right.
About what should we be, what we should be doing. Why would YouTube have it as policy to ban a doctor?
Yeah.
As prestigious as this guy, I forgot his name, but I think his name was Nut. It was Knut. Do you know it? Can you look that up?
Yeah, it was some Swedish guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why would YouTube ban that? Why would YouTube shadow ban my video? I'm like, these things are happening. I'm not making them up. The news, CBS reported this. Why would you ban me from talking about it? In fact, you got CBS on your platform talking about it. So I wonder if YouTube only started doing this because they were scared of the press and the negative press they were getting. So something else might happen. YouTube may be doing this out of fear because the advertisers react to the bad press from the activists and press.
Probably.
So when Joe Rogan goes on Spotify, and Spotify has a guaranteed contract and won't take the podcast down, YouTube might say to the press when the press complains, it's on Spotify. What are you mad at us for?
Right.
It's exclusive deal with Spotify. I'm like, but you're hosting it, like Spotify's hosting it and promoting it.
Yeah.
And then that's the defense YouTube might have. Hey, don't look at us. We're not the one who signed the exclusive deal, and now he's doing it. So that might actually pressure YouTube into going back towards supporting more free speech.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
It reminds me of this tweet that I have got it pulled up here. I can't show you guys this on my computer, but it's basically comparing the immune system to our mental.
Drop it in the document. I'll pull it up.
All right, let's see.
And then we'll keep explaining it, and then I'll.
Well, I mean, it's just a simple sentence. It's just basically our immune systems need to handle different viruses and diseases to get stronger. Same with our intellectual defenses. Like, we need to be exposed to good ideas and bad ideas to know what a good idea is and what a bad idea is. It's kind of like the same thing. So if they're only getting rid of all these things that they consider bad and all this is good, but we're going to keep all of this, it's just pushing people to I don't want to say stupid people, but like people. I mean, it feels like everyone's fed up with this anyway, but there's a lot of people out there that are only going to believe what they see on YouTube and what's still allowed to be there, You know
what they don't understand is that the reason people are really into, say, Plandemic, and the reason why people are torching 5G towers is because, partly, of their censorship. Because are you familiar with the Gell-Mann amnesia effect? I think I've told you about it before.
Sounds familiar. Enlighten us.
Yes, it's a fake name that was made by some guy because it was a joke about sounding, like legit.
Okay.
The idea is that if you're an expert skateboarder, right, you open up a magazine or a newspaper or you open a news article and it says the skateboarder did a whirly bird down a flue bowl, and you're like, those aren't things. What is this? This is nonsense.
Yeah.
Because you're an expert, you can clearly see the nonsense, and you say this is fake news.
Yes. Okay.
But then you turn the page and it's a story about Syria. And they say, Syrian dictator bombed kids. And you go, wow, I didn't know that. You've immediately forgotten that this paper is publishing fake news because you trust the other stuff you're not an expert in.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So,
but I do appreciate you saying expert skateboard and pointing to me.
yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
We cherish her.
So I bring that up for a specific reason. When people see the New York Times lie, defend Joe Biden,
Yeah.
you know, any sane, rational person who reads the news saw the New York Times repeatedly defend the Christine Blasey Ford who accused Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
And then when this accuser came out against Joe Biden, defend Joe Biden. The double standard was palpable.
Yeah.
So now that they don't trust the mainstream media, they turn to independent commentary, and then YouTube shuts it down. What's the first thing they think? The establishment
right.
is protecting itself. This must be true. Otherwise, they wouldn't hide it from us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's not the case. But
Well, not necessarily. Could be true, but
I mean,
not guaranteed.
they're not
just
censoring
because.
it because it's true.
Right.
And they're scared of you learning the truth. They're censoring it because it is the mainstream narrative that's safe for their advertisers.
Right.
So when they banned, I don't know if when Amazon like banned the sale of masks or something, they like removed masks. Then like the Fauci said, don't wear a mask. Masks are bad.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many messages I got from people saying, dude, get your masks quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're doing the opposite of what they're advised to do. And it's funny because now they're saying, get your masks or else we'll arrest you. It's the stupidest thing, man.
You get out of the store without a mask. Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a funny
ridiculous.
there's a funny viral tweet where it's like the evolution of masks. It's like masks don't work. If you wear them, you're killing you're killing your grandmother. Then it said like don't buy masks. The doctors and nurses need them. Then it was like masks don't really matter. Then consider buying a mask. Everyone must wear a mask if they go into a private business.
Yep.
If you don't wear a mask outside, you'll be arrested. It's like what?
It's been quite the wild ride.
Can you make up your mind, please?
Seriously, yes.
Make up your mind.
So people naturally don't believe it. And then they go on YouTube where they can see someone like me, and then they see someone like me get shadow banned and censored.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. I wonder how much Alex Jones is making up.
Right.
Not in the sense of like details, but showmanship.
Well, he is a showman.
Here's what I imagine.
Isn't
Yeah.
Here's what I imagine. I imagine Joe signs this deal.
Yeah.
And then he's thinking, look, the Alex Jones podcast was 17 million views. So he calls up his buddy Alex and says, hey, what's up, buddy, man? I want to have you on the show, man. It did really, really well last time you were on. I'd love to have you on. And then Alex is like, oh, that sounds fantastic. I'd love to be on it. It's going to be okay. And then, Joe says something to the effect of, I cleared it with the Spotify contract. I can have on whatever guest I want.
Nice.
Alex hears, I cleared it that I can have you on. You know what I mean? So like Joe may have said, you're all good. My contract says you can come on.
Yeah.
What it really says is they can't interfere with his guests. Alex hears, I'm specifically in the contract.
Yeah. And also, I'm doing whatever I want now because I'm no longer at YouTube and I got this contract with Spotify.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Joe says something like, it was it was a good opportunity, and I think there's some worship where I worry a bit about the censorship. I don't like how they're handling it.
Yeah.
And then what happens is Alex goes, Joe says he's going to war, that he's refusing the censorship, and his contract specifically says I can be on, and it's actually much more simple. Like, hey, bud, how you doing? Like it's cool. My contract's great. And then it becomes this article where the headline says Joe Rogan says he is going to war against Google because Alex Jones has exclusively revealed it. It's like, wait for Joe Rogan to say something like that.
Right.
Not Alex Jones, who is a showman who rips his shirt off. And
who went on another person's show, didn't he? Wasn't it? He revealed it not even on his own show.
Yeah,
he went on
was
someone
a
else's
podcast,
show.
Yeah.
No, but I think is that Robert Barnes' show?
Yeah, I think so.
But that's still part of Jones's network, I'm pretty sure.
I have no idea. I don't.
Yeah, Jones,
No,
like a lot of people don't realize banning Jones didn't do anything. I mean, it did. It definitely hurt his revenue because he was doing a lot of sales.
Yeah.
It definitely took him off of the mainstream social platforms. But Alex Jones has been around for a long time, like syndicated radio shows.
Right.
Like, I don't know a whole lot about how his show worked, but I'm pretty sure he's on the radio. Like, you can be in the middle of nowhere and turn on the radio, and it's like, this is the Alex Jones program. And then he comes on and he talks.
Oh, okay.
That's why when all the censorship stuff happened, I heard he didn't actually lose that much money, and that's why he built a new site. He's been doing his own video platform.
Yeah.
Like, he just does his own thing because he's rich. I heard he was making a ridiculous amount of money.
Right on.
I don't know the exact number, but when they banned him, all that it really meant was he went and built his own infrastructure because he's rich and continues to be.
And was able to, yeah.
Yeah. So here's what I'm hoping. September 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever, Joe starts having on more of these guests that YouTube hates, but it forces YouTube to maintain because he's got an alternative now. There's competition, man. It's market competition.
True.
So YouTube gets scared. Like, if we censor these videos, everyone will ask Spotify for a deal.
And if they do it, I feel like they're just going to push more of Joe Rogan's fans out of YouTube.
Exactly. So
You know?
Spotify probably knows that.
Right. It already feels like everyone's kind of fed up with YouTube. So if they do make that choice, everyone's going to be like, you know what? That's it. The straw. That's the one that broke my back. I'm out. I don't need you. You know, Alex is doing fine without him. Joe Rogan's going to do. People are saying he's going to like flop. It's like, no, he's not. He's going to continue doing what he's doing.
I don't think people realize Joe probably doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's
good. He's set up.
He's a famous comedian. He's an MMA commentator. He
Yeah.
gets at Netflix specials.
Yeah.
And he does the show the way he wants to do it. Now he's got a deal that could be, you know, Wall Street Journal says 100 million plus over a multi-year contract.
Well, now he's going to do the show how he really wants to do it.
Yep. That's
Without
probably
any
it, too.
restrictions.
I'm excited.
That's probably it.
Yeah.
Gloves are off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited.
That's what
be
Alex
awesome.
Jones was saying. I think that might be it.
His show's going to be better now.
It's going to be epic.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Early days, early Rogan was crazy stuff.
Yep.
And then things started to get, you know, like, dude, I just went on the Rogan podcast and I told him you can't say this name.
Yeah.
That was probably like, you can't say it.
Yeah.
And he's like, write it down for me. I write it down. And then he was like, I don't even know who that is. And I'm like, CIA
Yeah, that's
whistleblower guy,
why.
you can't say it. So why would you want to do that? If a company came around and said, nah, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
Deal. No more censorship. No more self-censorship. Guaranteed money. Done.
Yeah. That sounds good.
YouTube, there's an interesting problem YouTube's facing with this. I remember I was talking to friends about this 10 years ago. There was a big channel, really, really big in like 2010. And I was talking to some of the guys who hosted. I was at Tribeca Film Festival. And this was like, I think this was like six years ago.
Okay.
They said they used to get 1 million plus on every video and they were making mad cash. But then something happened and they started only getting a couple 100,000. And I said, it's a few things. In my opinion, it is saturation. YouTube is getting way too many new creators.
Okay.
And so every day you're competing with a bigger and bigger, space.
That makes sense.
Less eyeballs to go around, right?
That's true.
Early days of YouTube, you got 10 channels, but 1 billion people, everybody gets a lot of views.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I was like, the content you make is silly and fun. And have you considered your demographic is aging out? And they didn't understand the concept.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Well, when you did that video of like, I'm just making something up, of like, a guy dressed like a dinosaur jumping off of a building into a pool. Yeah. 12-year-olds laughed and all started watching it and you got a ton of views.
Right.
Now the people who've been following you for 5
like
years.
in their 30s or
No,
late
now
20s.
they're 20.
Sure. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And now they want to talk about, partying, college, drinking. They're facing new challenges at college about student debt. They're starting to ask questions.
Yep.
And you're still dressed up like a dinosaur and jumping in a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue, but we would have attracted a new, younger generation to replace it. And I'm like, Snapchat.
TikTok.
Now it's TikTok.
Right.
I'm like, they're not on YouTube, bro. It's like you captured them on that platform there. They are. There's still a lot of young people on YouTube.
Right.
But you captured them when they came, and now kids today who are joining YouTube are watching Minecraft. You don't make Minecraft. You make silly prank videos.
Yeah.
So the kids aren't watching that. Your audience, your numbers are going down. So I wonder, this is something that will affect YouTube across the board. They need their content to be more mature as the young people who use YouTube grow up. Most people, it's like if you're older than 40, it's a sliding scale where it's like 17-year-olds are up here using YouTube, and then they're like 17s are way down here for television. But it's inverted for 45-year-olds. 45-year-olds are up here for television and down here for YouTube. But as those young people, and like I'm sure the joke we made a couple days ago was that you're a 34-year-old male named John, watching right now. The people who like the largest faction of like the largest demographic for all of my content, including IRL, is like 30-year-old males.
Okay.
Where were these people 10 years ago? What were they doing? Watching different content. Now it's politics.
Yep.
Now it's the president. Now it's, censorship.
Yep.
So those old channels aren't going to capture anymore. That means if YouTube doesn't have a strong base of creators maturing along with the audience, they lose that entire audience. And now that YouTube's been censoring channels like this, what do they have to attract people? So it's like I've been on YouTube for 10 years and now YouTube is just not fun to watch anymore. Because the content I grew up with, the creators I was aligned with who matured alongside me, can't talk about what they want to talk about anymore.
Yeah, people have been texting me about it. Basically, YouTube itself is also changing in a different manner. It's getting less and less the YouTube hole. You know, you used to go into like a YouTube hole and like find the craziest stuff, and now it's just half mainstream media and half whatever they want you to see. And it's just not as fun and vast as it was once, you know?
Yeah, the press claimed that YouTube was a rabbit hole for extremism. And they used the far right as their scapegoat, as their straw man. Fundamentally not true.
Yeah.
And several studies. So there's never been, my understanding is that there hasn't been a real study proving it, but there have been studies disproving it. There have been people who have claimed they did analysis proving it, but those are lies. The ones that, especially the ones that include me, that I debunk.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the way I explain to people, the media argues that if you watch a conservative video, then you'll naturally drift towards the far right. That makes no sense. Those are two different arguments. It would be like saying if you eat too much chocolate, eventually you'll like white chocolate. It's like they're different things. Like they're both chocolate. I get it. So the argument was, conservatives are anti-immigration or anti-illegal immigration, and if you watch too much of that, eventually you'll oppose immigration outright. Like, no, that's not true.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Because conservatives have been arguing for controlled metered immigration.
Right.
So if you watch their videos, you'll agree with them on, I think, what does Trump say? Like, everybody can come if they come legally.
Right.
That's very different from saying no immigration at all.
Yeah.
So the example I give to people is like, if you watched a bunch of Batman videos, would you all of a sudden be a Batman cultist dressing like Batman and running around your city? You'd become a vigilante?
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't want to leave it out, but
Takes all kinds.
Who knows?
I remember those days of YouTube, man, where you would type in like flat Earth, and then you'd get a whole bunch of the craziest, silliest videos, and they were hilarious to watch.
They were kind of funny.
I don't believe the world is flat. But it's funny watching some guy go on this like screed rant passionately about how he can prove it, and it's nonsense.
Yeah, especially when one of your friends believes in flat Earth and makes you watch all of the videos.
Oh, man.
Who's that?
I'm not going to say the name, but I'm talking to you, buddy.
He knows who he is.
I don't know who's watching right now, but
Maybe.
But he tried to convince me. He put me, we sat there. He's like, "You got to watch this video," and I'm like, "Sure, show me. All right, let's do this." And I'm just like, okay, where's the science there? What about the science? It's like, this is just a belief system. And that's all it is, really.
I recently watched, they're still on YouTube.
Yeah, they're still there, I'm sure.
I was watching one where the guy was like, just saying things. Like, the sun is actually this big, therefore, this makes, like, this thing they've said about the blue dot in this photo makes no sense because the sun is actually only this big. And I'm like, how do you know the sun is that big? Like, that you just said, just saying it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, the moon is the same size as the Earth, or as the sun.
Yeah, and they just spin.
And it's just crazy. It's the perfect ratio. I think it's 10 times the moon it's like 100 times further than the moon, which is 10 times. I don't know. Some perfect ratio that they're the same size. That's why the eclipse happen.
I don't know what it's called.
It's cool.
Like, it's not an idiom or something. It's like a parable maybe of the puddle. Maybe parable is the right word. Basically, there's a puddle in the ground, looking around at the shape of the hole that he's in, and he says, "This is amazing. This puddle was perfectly made for me. It fits me very, very perfectly." Not realizing that he actually fits the hole. You understand?
Yeah.
So people look at the Earth and all of the things in the solar system, and they're like, "How could this be possible that we just happen to be on this planet with all these perfect things?" And it's like, out of all of the billions and trillions of planets and stars and whatever, we are here because this is the one with the perfect things.
Yep.
Not the other way around.
That's it.
But back to the point about YouTube.
Right.
Do you ever do like a Wikipedia bender?
Sometimes. I have, yeah.
You go on Wikipedia, you read stuff. It's like, however it happens, you'll read an article and it'll say like the California deal of 1853, and you're like, I wonder what that is, and you'll click it. And you'll be reading a story about like some oil tycoon who like sold off his gold fortune to like start an oil company.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how did the oil barons, come to be? And then you start reading like
And
crazy.
then it's 2 a.m. Yeah,
Yep.
this has happened.
And it's fun. And YouTube used to be like that. Now it's like you go on YouTube and do a search for something and you get Fox and CBS. And you're like, this is really awful.
Yeah.
It's not just about the mainstream. It's about how they specifically do not cater to YouTube's core user base or the internet at all.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You nailed it.
If you watch a segment on, CBS, I'm using them on purpose because they're not Fox News or MSNBC. They're going to be like, today Donald Trump spoke briefly in front of the press corps talking about the Obamagate theory. Donald Trump says that Michael Flynn was spied on. Jim, and it's like, you turn it on and then just listen to it. if you come to a regular YouTuber, they're going to be like, what's up, guys? Comment below. I saw what you said the other day. Here's what I think. Here's the story. And it's much more personal. It's much more interactive.
Yeah.
Designed for the platform. YouTube's been moving away from all that because of the bad
we're
press.
here to bring it back. Talking to you guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but I mean somewhat.
True.
Because we get suppressed too.
Yeah.
Depending on whatever we talk about. It's like, if we end up talking about something political, then the only recommendations will be Fox News. Even remotely, you know?
Yeah.
And then they start associating my name with politics. So then if you put my name in it, they're like, there's politics. And it negatively impacts. Like, so they ended up with all these smear pieces. YouTube panicked and then destroyed their website. You know, it could be that, you know, YouTube basically got an arrow right through its heart last year in May when they changed the algorithm. And it's a slow bleed out. So YouTube could be dead already. I mean, Joe Rogan's leaving.
Well, it's interesting how that whole hiccup that happened, was it earlier this week? Was it on Monday?
Hiccup.
Yeah, there was. We were trying to get the studio to work, and YouTube was out. People were tweeting us like, "Yo, YouTube's not working."
Oh, that's right. It's
and
broken.
we were like, "What is going on? It's not loading." And then all of a sudden, all the video recommendations were changed and were different.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I noticed it after that point.
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause everyone was saying-
this is just my view. What?
Yeah, we're getting like the non-corporate videos again. We're getting Tim Pool videos.
People have been saying that.
People
Because
send
I
me
noticed that a little bit
a
too.
tweet
Kicked up
with a
after
picture
that.
of 2 of your videos, the same video, on the front page, right next to each other. Both of them were identical, same exact video.
It's good news.
It's like, okay, and suddenly Joe Rogan's like, by the way, I'm leaving YouTube. The same day, actually. No, it was Tuesday. I think he announced it.
Yep.
But YouTube obviously knew already. You know, they probably knew something.
Dude.
So they're probably sweating. They're probably sweating like, man, we gotta change this because we're gonna lose the internet essentially.
If what
And they want to maintain control for sure.
If what Alex Jones is saying is true,
Mm-hmm.
it alludes to the fact that Joe Rogan did talk to Google specifically about his guests.
Probably.
So what did Alex Jones say? That Joe said he wants to interview doctors and experts, and was told by YouTube they would not allow such content on their platforms.
Exactly.
That means Rogan was talking to YouTube. That I would then assume YouTube was aware of this deal.
Exactly.
'Cause
That's what I'm saying.
Here's what I'm thinking. If I'm not going to speak for Joe, I don't know, but I'll tell you what I would do. I'll tell you what I've done. When a company comes to me and says, "Mr. Poole, we'd like to do an exclusive deal with you," I say, "How much?" And they give me a number, and then I say, "I want to be able to do these things." And they'll say, "Well, we can't do that, but we can do these." I say, "Okay, let me call you back." You know what the first thing I do is? I call their competitor.
Yep.
And I say, "I just got a phone call from this company, and they're offering me these things. Are you interested?"
X, Y, and Z. What are you gonna do?
And so I actually, for the sake of other people's privacy, I'll be vague about this, but back before I joined Vice, it's exactly what I did. So I got one offer from one company, one offer from another company, and then I went straight to Vice. I went to Vice and I was like, "Yo, look at these offers. What do you got?" And then Vice was like, And Vice was smarter than me. You know what they did?
I don't know.
They went to the other companies and went, "He's ours now. What are you going to give us?"
Oh,
Brilliant
snap.
move, dude. Those guys are...
you should have left the company names out of the, redact them from the documents.
It wasn't any documents. It was just like I knew some people there and I went and talked and I said, "Right now I've got, an offer from this company and an offer from this company, but to be honest, I'd rather come to you guys if you can offer something comparable." And so then I'm thinking this is smart. It's smart business. I'm leveraging the competition against each other.
Right.
And so Vice was just like, I didn't learn this until later, that they said, "Okay, absolutely, we'll hire you." And I said, "Here's what I want. Can you beat them?" And they were like, "Absolutely." And Vice gave me like carte blanche. They were like, "You'll do whatever you want. Here's how much we're going to pay you." And it wasn't that much relative to other companies, but I was like, I get to host all these things. I get to do what I want. And then sure enough, they went like basically right away to one of these other companies and said, "Now that he's here, we want you to do a deal with us if you want access to his content."
Wow.
Because at the time I had been doing like groundbreaking live stream stuff that no one
Making
was
that
doing.
money back that they were now
More.
paying you.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, dude, they made like 100 times. It was a brilliant move.
Yep.
But hey, it worked out for everybody. I got what I wanted. They got what they wanted. They were able to monetize off it. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this claim, if it's true, that he went to YouTube and they wouldn't allow content on their platforms. It sounds like he went to Spotify. Probably Spotify contacts Joe. we want you to do a deal. He says, okay, let me talk to YouTube. He goes to YouTube and says, will you do an exclusivity deal with me because Spotify's making an offer? And they say yes. And then he says, I want these guests. They said no. And he went, bye-bye.
Okay, I'm leaving then.
That's a maybe. I don't know for sure.
I mean, that's what it sounds right. It makes sense.
I don't know if YouTube would care for the exclusivity deal. And he's keeping his clip channel up.
Right.
If that's true, it suggests that there won't necessarily be a big anti-censorship, movement when he moves to Spotify.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be coordinated. If Joe wants doctors on, and as soon as he's officially on Spotify, he'll have the doctors on.
Yep.
And it's gonna be huge for him.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to have those doctors that got removed. The ones from California that were talking about, they were basically just explaining the immune system and talking about having a healthy one versus a not healthy one, going outside, staying inside. Staying inside weakens your immune system.
Right.
And that's all they were saying. It wasn't even that crazy, but they deleted it.
You see that photo of the guy who's super ripped?
Yeah.
And then 6 weeks later,
yes,
he's super thin.
But he had the coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
So it ravaged his body, basically.
Well, no, it was being in bed for
not
6
not
weeks.
eating, not working out.
It was.
I mean, he looked in good shape still. He was just thin.
He looked.
He had a feeding tube. You
Yeah.
can see it there inside of his stomach, which is a horrible way to get nutrition. That's not how you're supposed to eat, and it should be temporary.
So he's laying in bed for 6 weeks, withering away.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing locked in your house. How many people aren't getting exercise, are eating bad? There's memes about this where they're like, there's two kinds of people.
Yeah.
And then like it's a video of some dude doing like prison workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other person is sitting there with their gut hanging out, like mustard from their corn dog dripping on their belly. A lot of people got limited exercise, getting up and walking around every day, going out to work, walking to lunch,
Yep.
sitting around doing nothing now. And being sedentary is going to result in them getting, sick or hurt.
Exactly.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.